The Grinch, or How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The original anti-hero made his first appearance in the 1957 story of the same name, written and illustrated by Dr. Seuss. Then, almost a decade later, an animated version of the story appeared on CBS, directed by Chuck Jones and narrated by none other than Frankenstein himself, Mr. Boris Karloff, who, to be honest, sounds a little like he's announcing it over a radio broadcast, and also provides the voice of the monster himself, the Grinch.
I must find some way to keep Christmas from coming.
When it was first released, critics viewed this as passable, although since it has been viewed as a classic Christmas tale, and has been held among most Christmas traditions, like any other, as a must-view to make the holiday season complete. Since, The Grinch has appeared on other specials, like 1977's Halloween is Grinch Night.
It's a wonderful night for eyebrows.
Okay, so as you can imagine, those later releases haven't necessarily held up to the original tale of the self-debating, holiday-hating menace himself. So in 1999, when it was announced that there would be a live version of the film, people were ecstatic. Here it was, the classic cartoon that generations had grown up with, and now it was going to be made into a live-action movie. Wow. Well, not so fast. Released in 2000 and directed by Ron Howard starring Jim Carrey, The Grinch, or How the Grinch Stole Christmas, as it's been referred to as both, isn't necessarily the classic TV special done live action, but rather adds to the groundwork of the story. This version reminds me more of a Tim Burton Batman film than more of a holiday flick, leaving you with a kinda dizzy feeling during some scenes. But the overall look of the story works on many levels. For instance, the Grinch's backstory. Anyone who's ever followed the Grinch knows two things about his persona. One, he likes pets. Sort of. And two, he hates Christmas. So this movie takes the next logical step in the storyline, explaining more to why the Grinch actually hates Christmas. For instance, in the cartoon, he blames it on the noise. But come to find out, through this movie, there's a little more to it than just that. The film takes the classic Dr. Seuss tale and puts a new spin on the Green Man's hate for Christmas, by explaining how he was born, where he grew up, and the horrific shaving accident that left him scarred with the sins of the holiday for good. It should be known before going any further that Dr. Seuss himself was approached about making a live-action version of The Grinch several times after it premiered in the 1950s. However, it was his wife, not the good doctor himself, who gave the final say on whether this movie would be made or not after his passing. There's something I've always wondered about the Grinch, is why is he green? Did you ever wonder that yourself? In the original version of the story, like all Dr. Seuss's previous stories, the character was black and white with shades of red. But one would assume that fitting with the good doctor's characteristics of rhyming with words, being mean, led the Grinch to being green. In any case, the live-action version of the story holds true to the original, with all the Grinch's trademark characteristics present and accounted for. Although, I have to say, there's a lot of extra characters that really weren't needed, and in most cases, are just stupid. Like the opening scene, where there are some teenagers who are climbing a mountain, and then they just happen to turn out to be Cindy Lou Who's brothers. Also some ridiculous storyline about a holiday cheermeister that's not even part of the original story, that the Grinch, of all people, ends up winning. And sort of leaves the audience in somewhat of an awkward state, just waiting for the Green Man to jump in a Santa suit and rob the town blind of their holiday cheer, which he eventually does, but it seems like it takes forever in that sense. Overall, the film has been somewhat handcuffed by its fans. Some have praised it for its creativity in extending the styles of the classic Dr. Seuss tale, while others have denounced it for straying too far from the original storyline. At the end of the day, it's your call to make. But I think Ron Howard did an exceptional job of turning a 25-minute cartoon that was already based on a much shorter story than that, and making it into a full-length feature film, with a runtime about 3 times as much as the original holiday special.
I really don't like them. No, I don't.